Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Joanna Ho. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. More than 170 people were killed and 180 injured in a stampede and riot at a football match in Indonesia. Hong Kong General Chamber of Commerce sounds dire warning about the city's economic recovery. And Welfare Minister Chris vows to investigate another child abuse scandal, just as a school for the disabled is accused of mistreating students. At least 174 people were killed in Indonesia in one of the world's worst stadium disasters. In an alleged breach of protocol, police officers fired tear gas to contain the crowds, triggering a stampede. Macy Mock reports.
Chaos erupted at the Kanjuruhan Stadium in East Java after host Arema FC were beaten by arch-rivals Persebaya Surabaya 3-2. Arema fans took out their frustration by invading the pitch. The Persebaya goalkeeper had to be escorted to safety as a mob surrounded him. Dozens of spectators then took aim at a police vehicle. Security personnel could hardly be seen at this stage as the situation spiraled out of control. It was later revealed the stadium had been filled beyond capacity. 42,000 tickets were sold, but only 38,000 seats were available. Riot police finally arrived, but their heavy-handed tactics further raised eyebrows. Some beat back the invaders by whipping their batons, while another officer tackled a fan with a flying cake. But the real tragedy began when officers fired tear gas to force the fans out of the stadium. In a state of panic, many fled for the exits at the same time, causing a stampede. 34 people died at the scene, with the remaining passing away in hospital. The fatalities included 2 police officers and a 5-year-old child. Most victims suffocated, while others sustained brain injuries. According to World Football's governing body, FIFA, tear gas cannot be deployed in any stadium. The Indonesian Football Association has been asked to submit a report on the deadly incident. East Java Police Chief Nico Afinta defended the operation, claiming officers had taken preventive action before firing tear gas. He described the fans' behavior as anarchical, adding officers had to respond with force.
Saya juga telah perintahkan kepada Menpora.
Ahead of hosting the Under-20 World Cup next year, Indonesian President Joko Widodo ordered a thorough evaluation of security protocol at football matches. He also ordered the suspension of the top football league and hoped this would be the last tragedy of its kind in Indonesia. Macy Mock, HKIBC.
Back locally, Hong Kong's leading business chamber warned that the economy is unlikely to rebound immediately, even if inbound quarantine is scrapped. It also urged authorities to work on resuming travel with the mainland and lure foreign talents. Jenna Slow reports.
Starting last Monday, inbound travelers no longer have to serve hotel quarantine, as the government scrapped the rule which had been in place since December 2020. But the business sector poured cold water on the milestone, saying arrivals are still bound by restrictions, most notably a ban on restaurant dine-ins. Calls are already mounting to scrap the 3 days of medical surveillance. At the forefront is the Hong Kong General Chamber of Commerce. Chief Executive George Leung warned that even if the so-called 0+3 arrangement is scrapped between now and December, the economy will not receive an instant boost.
The effect, I think it needed to be serviced mostly in next year. Cause this sort of large-scale activities, it needs some 1 to 2 months to plan. Hopefully, we are going to see very soon 0.0, so that we can see more visible rebound early next year in Hong Kong.
He also reviewed a chamber survey which indicated that 1 in 10 large firms have permanently left Hong Kong during the first half of the year, while another 30% were pondering an exit. Another urgent matter, he added, was the lack of high-skilled labor in the city. Overseas and mainland professionals who wish to work in Hong Kong must meet high thresholds, and Leung felt it was time to lower the requirements and provide housing subsidies. Janice Low, HKIBC.
Hong Kong registered 3,569 new COVID infections today, including 215 imported cases. Local infections accounted for 3,354 cases. Only 864 were confirmed through PCR tests, while the remaining were detected through RAT exams. 6 more people passed away, taking the tally of COVID-related deaths since the 5th wave to 9,960. A total of 1,673 COVID patients are now in hospital, including 12 in intensive care. For the first time, scientists and engineers from Hong Kong and Macau could soon head to space through China's space program. State media quoted the China Manned Space Agency as saying that it will try to shortlist candidates from the 2 SARs to act as payload specialists. If selected, they will serve as crew members in future space missions and complete specific tasks. A total of 12 to 14 astronauts will be named in the current exercise, which could take up to 18 months. Chief Executive John Lee described the news as historic and soul-stirring and urged teenagers to chase their dreams. Secretary for Labor and Welfare Chris Sun has promised to follow up on suspected cases of child abuse at a Po Leung Kok Child Care Center. He also hinted that authorities could soon release the results of the investigation into the Mirror concert accident. Speaking on a TV program, Labor and Welfare Secretary Chris Sun pledged to seriously follow up on reports of child abuse at a Po Leung Kok residential home in Causeway Bay. This comes after 2 carers were arrested last week on suspicion of mistreating children at the facility. Sun said the home's operational procedures will be scrutinized, and the charity has been ordered to submit an incident review report. He also praised the Social Welfare Department for actively reviewing surveillance camera footage from child care centers, leading to the discovery of the case. In the long term, he admitted there's a need to ramp up manpower at the homes, such as hiring more carers for toddlers. But a fresh scandal has surfaced. There are now reports suggesting a school for the mentally handicapped had mistreated students. Hong Chi Pine Hill No. 2 School in Tai Po is now under investigation by police and the Education Bureau following complaints by parents. Sun said all facilities which handle children under 6 must be properly regulated. A committee tasked to review residential homes for children has made suggestions to improve service, and he said some have already been implemented. On a separate note, the Labor chief confirmed that a months-long investigation of the Mirror concert accident is coming to an end. He hoped the results can be announced as soon as possible. Another probe on a fatal industrial accident in Sao Mau Ping last month is still ongoing, however. No conclusion can be drawn yet on how a crane collapsed at the construction site, leaving 3 dead and 6 injured. Sun would only say that investigators are working at full speed. The head of the Civil Service College emphasized the institution's aim is not to punish civil servants. Instead, its goal is to reduce the number of redundant staff. Oscar Kwok, the former deputy police commissioner who now heads the college, described some of the civil servants as free riders. He said these workers are satisfied with the pay package and the status quo, but are unwilling to contribute. He added that a variety of courses will be set up for civil servants to strengthen their sense of national identity. Government officials had previously floated plans to send civil servants to the mainland for training. The United States, Australia, and Japan have promised to tackle challenges which undermine the foundation of the international order. The defense ministers pointed the finger at China following a trilateral meeting in Hawaii.
We are bound together by our deep friendship and our commitment to democracy and our shared vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific region. But today, that vision is threatened by autocratic countries that peddle disinformation and defy international rules and rely on coercion and intimidation. We are deeply concerned by China's increasingly aggressive and bullying behavior in the Taiwan Strait and elsewhere in the region.
We watch China seek to shape the world around it in a way that we have not seen before. It presents real challenges for those countries which seek to uphold the global rules-based order. The UN Convention of the Law of the Sea, freedom of navigation, and bodies of water like the South China Sea and the East China Sea are fundamentally important to Australia's national interests.
On to the weather now. Fine and very hot in the coming days. Temperatures tomorrow will range between 28 and 32 degrees, rising to 33 degrees on Chongyuan Festival on Tuesday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Sunday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Joanna Ho. Thanks for watching. Good night.